The following special edition of Artisodes is part of WUCF's American Graduate Initiative. It also continues Spotlight Education, a week of programming that examines how creativity and dedication to teaching all children is making a real difference in Central Florida and across the nation. In this edition of WUCF Artisodes, a Palm Bay artist earns a national award.
When I went to LA and I got professional illustrators telling me that my work is worth selling, it's like what I do means something.
And a Central Florida Symphony Orchestra brings a classical experience to area students.
What's the life of playing music? It definitely has made a major difference in my life.
It's all coming up on WUCF Artisodes. Megan Nelson is a mostly self-taught graphic artist. Her science fiction images offer a twist on reality and have drawn national recognition.
Megan Nelson, illustrator for Poseidon's Eyes, was born in Palm Bay, Florida. She is now attending the University of Central Florida, majoring in English literature, which is her second artistic love. She also does freelance illustration and comic work when her schedule isn't a many-headed beast. Please congratulate artist Megan Nelson.
Here I am standing on a stage in LA, accepting an award for drawing science fiction and fantasy. Oh my gosh.
Winning Illustrators of the Future was really, really awesome because for a long time, what I said in my speech was that my artwork had been stuck in a closet until that point, and that was true. So when I went to LA and I got professional illustrators telling me that my work is worth selling, it's worth being on display, it was just the validation, you can't explain it. It's like what I do means something. I got started when my dad showed me how to draw a boy out of the word boy. So you draw a boy and then there'd be a head and eyes and everything. And after that I just kept drawing, and then in 5th grade I drew a picture of a dragon for one of my teachers for a story I had written, and my teacher went crazy about it. She's like, "This is the best dragon I'd ever seen, this is really good." And I was like, wow, it actually looks pretty good, I'm gonna keep doing this. So I kept on and I've been drawing ever since. I get inspired by looking at other people's art all over the place. It's just amazing what people can come up with and what they share. When I walk through art galleries and I look at other people's work, it's a connection, I feel. Because when I look at the work, I like to see how it's made. I try to read how much work they put into it and the story of their artwork in the brushstrokes. I love to do science fiction and fantasy art. I do dragons, fairies, people with magical powers. So interesting and so much fun for me to think about. Drawing dragons and drawing imaginary things, you sort of have to base yourself in reality. If I want to do a dragon, I'll look up pictures of lizards and snakes and give them the lizardy and snake feel. To make a mystical thing become sort of at least believable, you have to start in the basics of reality. And with creatures that don't even exist, you sort of have to make up your own anatomy and your own sort of history for what the creatures do, and I really like doing that as well. The work that I do, a lot of it actually centers around stories that I make up or write. There are characters that I make up and that I draw over and over again. Just stories are what sort of inspire the characters and what I have in my galleries and the work that I do. Animation has been my passion for a long time. Animation is something that's what got me into drawing in the first place, dragons on TV. Just having a character that you've made up or you've worked on and seeing them move around, it's a feeling that I can't describe. It's something I really love. I applied and was accepted to the Ringling College of Art and Design in their animation program, which only accepts about 60 students per year. But They sent me the bill and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't afford that. So I had to sort of reorganize my priorities, had to figure out what it was that I could do and support myself, and if art was something that I could do to support myself. And I finally settled on doing art as a side thing, as something that I want to grow up into and something that I will always work on, but I sort of teach myself artwork and go to school for the thing that will pay the bills. I'm a literature major, and that's actually my second love. I love to write. Writing and art just, I don't know, they mesh for me because my art is inspired also by stories, and my stories are inspired by art, so they sort of work hand in hand. Art is definitely a piece of, I guess, humanity, you could say. Without it, I feel like we live in a pretty soulless world. You can look at a piece of art and you can see someone else's thought process in it. You can look outside of yourself and look into what they were thinking of. With science fiction and fantasy, you can see worlds that will never exist except in that person's head. Art's been with me for forever. I don't know who I would be without art. Being able to draw and express yourself is a really, really cool thing.
Artisodes recognizes one of our community's outstanding student artists.
My name is Hector Roman. I'm a senior currently attending Rockledge High School. My style is different, it's unique in the sense that it's all one line, so it's all a continuous line, it's the composite sketch is what builds it up. So you're not going to see a lot of that around, especially in the art world, which is why I liked it a lot. The concepts and ideas, they come from basic sketches. Like I'm always thinking on what I can do next, so I'm always, when I'm not working on art, I'm working on art. It's always gone on in my head on what I can do next, and if I don't draw it down, it just bothers me the entire day. So the ideas come through my experiences throughout the day, people I see, the emotions I see off people's faces.
I've had Hector the past 4 years at school here, and he has grown so much as an artist. For Hector and his style, it is very special. It is very unique to him. The one-line aspect of it is very unique, and the way that he uses his acrylic to emphasize the passion for different feelings.
When I'm working on my pieces, it's just me and my pieces. I'm focused on nothing else. My passion for art goes beyond anything I can imagine. It's one of the few things I can call my true loves. I can't imagine doing anything else. I don't imagine doing anything else. When I go to the shows and I see people feeding off my stuff, I think it's the craziest thing ever that people can have that same emotion I am when I'm doing my art, and I appreciate it, and it's amazing.
The Daytona Beach Symphony is saying yes to at-risk students in Volusia County. Every year, the Youth Experiencing Symphony program helps over 3,000 students broaden their horizons.
We feel it's very important to try to bring the youth in and expose them to symphony. And so that's what the YES program is, Youth Experiencing Symphony. And what we've done is we've gone and tried to use the local county school system and get them to be able to have students come in free of charge for students.
The YES program has different functions for different students. For instance, for the students in Title I, it's a totally eye-opening experience to them. It's the first time that they are, for many of them, is their first experience with high culture. You know, just to come to a sophisticated event and get dressed up and act adult almost, and they see professional musicians performing at a first-rate level.
We usually try to get in 4 orchestras, 1 opera, 1 dance, and 1 other that exposes them to something else. And we let them also, after the event, talk with the performers.
Yes.
Why did you want to be a conductor?
I really love it actually because, you know, when you conduct, it's like you're in the middle of all the music. And there's all this like sound that it comes right at you. So it kind of feels like you're in the shower, but instead of water, it's just like music that comes running. So it's really quite fun. That's what I really love.
My first initial experience was when I was 11 years old. Our teacher came to us and said, "We have these tickets, we want you to go come check out this classical orchestra." And I remember we were sitting way up in the nosebleeds, but I remember looking down and saying, maybe one day that'll be me. I graduated from Daytona State College in 2012 with a music production degree. I've been performing in the orchestra here for almost 10 years and I'm still performing. I didn't even know what a tuxedo was, and we were supposed to wear a tuxedo shirt and tuxedo clothes, and so my family went out and we got a nice pair of pants and a nice tuxedo shirt. It's the first time I ever wore a tux shirt. Now I wear them all the time. In the 3 years that I was in the program, we went to quite a few different concerts. It definitely influenced me as a child.
Once they get here, there's that sense of excitement when they sit down preparing for the concert. And then once the concert starts, they set in a little bit. And I think that they, for the most part, are just amazed by what they're seeing and what they're hearing.
It was interesting showing up. I was kind of nervous. I'd never been around any, we were around a bunch of older adults, and it was my first concert. It was my first actual experience of going to a live performance.
For them to experience the sophistication of classical music and classical musicians and artists and stuff like that has a real impact on them. With many of them, it gives them a whole new perspective on life, the way that it should be, the way that it is, the way that it can be.
It encouraged me to do better and to go bigger. It opened my eyes completely to a whole different world. I was so used to just going to class and playing music, and then when I realized, I was like, well, it's time to grow up a little bit. It helped me push myself to be a little better and push myself further and to try and interact outside of school with the actual music world itself.
I want to give all these people an experience so that they can understand there's something more than just the things they're used to seeing. It's more than rap, there's more than folk, there's more than rock. There's a wide variety of things, and you know, some of these things are really great, and they latch into them, and if they didn't have the opportunity to do that, they may miss an entire part of their life going forward.
College.
What do I study in college? Well, I studied music, and I also studied a bit of history, you know, stuff to help with violin playing, I suppose.
As for the younger generation, I think it kind of gives them an idea of like what the real world's going to be like when they get older. I thought about it when I was younger. I was like, well, what's it going to be like when I get older? What's the life of playing music? Is it just because I want to get out of class and go play music, or is it actually going to make a difference in my life? And it definitely has made a major difference in my life.
Greater Orlando Cares works hard to help children attain academic and social success. They and the Pine Hills community teamed up with a Central Florida neurosurgeon to research the impact of exposing kids to music through an event called Jazz in the Hills.
I always try to make sure that with Greater Orlando Cares, we're on mission. If we can give our students something that helps to prepare them even better to receive what the teacher is saying in math, in science, well, how do we do that? We've got to go precognitive, and precognitive is the neuroplasticity. Precognitive is let's develop the brain neural pathways a little bit differently. Music does that, and in particular, jazz is one of the forms of music that does it in a very nice way.
It's critical almost that we allow people to know the importance of music as far as the brain is concerned. So I took 2 kids around the same age and did something called a functional MRI, and they listened to music while the MRI was being performed.
Do you understand what it is we're going to do today?
You're going to see how my brain reacts to different kinds of music.
That's right.
What I found was that one of the patients, the temporal lobes, which is there's speech, there's language, there's a lot of higher executive functioning, there's memory. So these are areas that we use for our learning. And both of his temporal lobes lit up. When we look at the other patient, the temporal lobe is stimulated quite a bit more than the previous subject. Just from that, I went in blind. I didn't know either subject's background or anything. I was able to speculate that the patients whose areas had lit up was exposed to a musical environment at a young age, and that the other subject was not. When I got more information on them, it was true. The subjects whose temporal lobes really lit up had been exposed to more of a diverse background, was exposed at school to music, went to a private school, so had that exposure. The other subject, very bright, but however had not had that exposure in his public school setting.
There was something happening in music class that helped me when I got back to regular class. And without that in our school systems, not that becoming less and less prevalent in our school systems, that's a challenge.
If you expose a child to a musical environment early, then it's going to have a long-lasting positive effect as they get older and in every aspect of their life, not just they're going to be musically inclined, because they may not play an instrument, but when you look at their test scores, they're going to be higher than those who weren't exposed to that.
Whether you are listening or playing, the improvisational nature of jazz connects someone to, again, I guess it goes back to that brain plasticity. You're now creating new pathways of your neurons that helps you to now receive the development part of self.
I don't think your environment per se dictates that. I think you can be in the inner city and have that exposure to music. I think you can be in the suburbs. I think you can be in the country. And I think there's potential in every person, regardless of background or ethnicity or anything. There's potential. So we have to show them that there's potential.
And I'm happy that we've been able to figure out a unique way of doing that in the conversation of M&M, music and mentoring, and in particular through jazz. And that's what Jazz in the Hills is all about.
Once again, Artisodes recognizes another of our community's outstanding student artists.
My name is Mackenzie Graham, and I'm a senior at Lake Howe High School. I have two very different styles of realistic and very flowy. If I'm doing something realistic, my goal is to recreate what I'm looking at, but make it a little bit better than the picture. Maybe represent what I'm drawing a little bit better than the photograph would. The original ideas are more about expressing what I felt when I was looking at that piece or that picture, like the idea and the warm summer day, instead of actually just painting the water.
When Mackenzie first was in my class, I knew that she had a lot of talent, but as time progressed, to see her go from where she was to what she is now, Mackenzie is not only a wonderful artist, but she is in student government as a representative. She is part of the swim team, the water polo team. She does over 200 hours of community service, and she has a wonderful GPA. Mackenzie is the total package.
It's really awesome seeing the finished product. Usually if I'm doing something more realistic, it won't look very realistic in the beginning stages, so I have to push myself to actually finish it. And when I'm in the middle of a painting, especially, I don't know if you can see it, that one right there in the pool, my friend was just laying back in the water and she looked so happy that I just wanted to paint it and capture that happiness of just sitting in the sun on the summer day.
I see so much potential in Mackenzie. She's constantly trying to strive to be better, which is fabulous.
Violectric combines the energy and irreverence of rock and roll with the sweet sounds of violins and violas, but they also love to share their passion with students.
Violectric is a 7-piece rock band that is comprised of a string quintet, which is the 5-string instruments, 2 violins, viola, cello, upright bass, but we've also added keys and live acoustic drums. But I think the idea started way back when, and I won't say what year, but I will say that my dad was listening to vinyl records, specifically Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti, and on that is a song called Kashmir, and they used live strings. Well, needless to say, I was hooked from that point on, and I think I always knew from that point on that I wanted to do rock music as a violinist. And when you realize that, there's 11 lines there. 11 lines is the mapping of the human voice from the lowest voice that I can't do to the highest voice. I think I was born a teacher. We have Violectric education programs that range everywhere from the youngest students all the way to the university level. We definitely love the opportunity to give back to our community. For example, for our youngest students, we like to go into an existing class of students where we will work with them and show them not only that rock music is an option for music, and a lot of times they're not even at the point yet where they're using the bow on the string. They're just plucking the strings. So what we do is we like to go in and help the teacher, help the instructors, and that's from the younger students. And then again, we like to play for them, and so they can hear that, wow, I didn't know you could play that on a violin. People think, oh, you know, that's guitar music, or oh, that's vocal music, and yet here we are playing it on traditional string instruments that they're used to seeing in a symphony or with the opera and ballet.
I think it's an amazing opportunity to have artists such as Violectric in the Central Florida community willing to come into the Dr. Phillips Center School of the Arts, because I think it motivates kids to be able to see professionals who are working in their field and have one-on-one access with them. Violectric works all over the world. And you know, if I was a 10-year-old violin student and I had Michelle Jones helping me learn fingering on my violin, it would be very impactful and meaningful.
It's really fun having them here because we get to know how to do it, and they helped us a lot and let us learn new things. We learned how to use the bow a little bit more, how to hold it and put it on the violin.
I was around a lot of musicians when I was younger, but never stringed instruments. So it just seems like magic to me that they can move their hands up and down and hit the right notes. And it was great to actually ask somebody, wait, is this magic? How are you doing that?
I love playing, but I certainly hope that what we are creating carries on. And that's what I always want it to be. I want it to be a place that people want to be a part of the ensemble, because as long as there are groups out there making music, we want to be one of those groups making music too.
That's all for this week on WUCF Artisodes. Thanks for watching. For more arts and culture, visit our website at wucftv.org/artisodes, where you can find feature videos and more.